Kept you waiting, huh?
Overall, when people think of a 2D side-scrolling platformer, the mind comes to many different games that trigger nostalgia instantly. Mega Man, Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario Bros., Ghosts and Goblins, Rambo. Honestly, when thinking about it, the art of the 2D side-scroller has been lost through time since we moved to the time of 3D. As time goes on, bits are getting larger than 8, and the fact is, you don't have to go right all the time. As time did go on, video games did go through that direction of what people would call progression, details being added such as more graphics, voice acting.
Not that there's anything wrong with that!
Now, sometimes to create something memorable, going forward and progressing with great 3D graphics and voice acting that is led by the great Nolan North or Troy Baker, or anyone else that is literally not in anything, isn't always the answer in making the next big thing.
I'm calling it right here. This world can officially bite my ass.
Well, all this warm up to something that you already know what I'm going to be talking about, cause it's in the title. Welcome to the debut episode, everybody. Shovel Knight, woo! Cue the awesome intro.
June 26, 2014.
The gods amongst men known as Yacht Club Games, after a successfully kickstarted campaign that raised over $300,000 for a project whose goal was originally $75,000, was released and in the end became available to the who's of platform: PC, Wii U, DS, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, Amazon Media Fire TV, and whatever the hell a Vita is, and recaptured that nostalgic feeling that has never been touched properly in decades. Now, let's break it down and see what this game is. Your friend goes missing, then a group of baddies show up, and you go out looking for answers and your lost friend. That is it. But really though, in regards to the story, you can literally break it down into just this. Shovel Knight and Shield Knight are the bestest of buds and go around adventuring and protecting the land like all knights do. But one tragic day, both landed themselves at the Tower of Fate. Afterwards, we find Shovel Knight by himself, alone, without his companion, and nothing but her helmet remaining. Filled with grief, Shovel Knight retired and gave up adventuring like he did with his partner, to a new life in the countryside, until one day, the villain known as the Enchantress arrived with her band of knights known as the Order of No Quarter. That's a fucking badass name. The Order began to take over the land and capture the Tower of Fate, where Shield Knight was lost. So, with hope of finding his friend and saving the day, Shovel Knight prepares for an epic comeback by saving his friend, defeating the Enchantress, and defeating all knights along the way. And you know how great this game is about the story's explanation? In the little opening cutscene, let's gonna rewind it for a second. With this cutscene, you get the whole purpose and motivation of who you are and why you're doing this in the perfect way of setting the scene. By the time the story draws to a close, you as the player, through a great script, get completely invested into what is going on and are left with a satisfying conclusion that I would label as a near perfect ending. Sometimes simplicity is the key in regards to a game like this. You get two buttons other than your D-pad to work with: jump and attack/interact. Sound familiar? And I love this part. Literal first level. You jump in and you start. No tutorial, no instructions, just the phrase, ready? Let's get digging. After that, it's up to you on what to do. And you learn with experience, not with orders. And in the first cinematic shot, you see yourself in the beginning and you see your goal of the Tower of Fate in the background. Just perfect setup. Plus, all of the power-ups you get along the way really add a perfect amount of variety to the game. And certain parts of the levels, if you have a chance to gain certain abilities early, you can actually give yourself a boost into hidden areas of the game. Another great callback to the classics. It is crisp, it is clean, it is tight. Obviously, this game goes back to the old 8-bit style and turns it on its head, bringing out refreshing colors and shades that bring out the beauty and detail of an environment and characters in a way that is eye-catching, in a way that is pleasing to your vision. The character design is fantastic, and it really provides a great style behind all the characters, from Shovel Knight to the whole rogues gallery of the Order of No Quarter. And the enemies located in the game all look like they fit, and you are ready to unleash your spaded justice upon them. And what really adds character to a game where there's no voiceover dialogue? Yep, no Nolan North or Troy Baker seen here, just text bubbles. And the best kind of text bubbles. The kind where you can understand how a character feels and what emotions they're conveying just by the way words appear on the screen. Not only that, but the sounds that go along with the gameplay are expertly fitted and nothing sounds out of place. Every sound has its place and it's executed perfectly. And the music, just listen to it and tell me that it doesn't add any ambiance to what you are seeing. Listen folks, a good game with good music can be effective at establishing a scene and conveying how a player should react to certain situations. But what makes a great game with great music is making the music an actual character in the game that responds and reacts to the situation properly and can give a player the hope and energy to carry on until the end. Cause any game can have something in the background to pass time, but something better can serve as a set piece for the background. If my words haven't really conveyed how I feel about how much fun this game is, I'm not sure what will. This passion project, with all its variety and uniqueness, brings something old and familiar, but makes it the new hotness. A literal blast for all. Yet, if I were going to give criticisms to this game, it would honestly be that at times it could feel a little bit repetitive to some people depending on how you play, which could seem understandable for some. And for a game whose main story could take about 6.5 hours to complete, or if you're like me and take your sweet ass time, about 9 hours looking through every nook and cranny for all the secrets. But other than some repetitiveness in the game in general, like I said, very entertaining, fun for adults and some kids. Now, I say some kids because of the whole learning through experience thing. It could be considered challenging for some younger people, but overall, if you're like a badass guy like myself, you really wouldn't have much of a problem with the game, but you will appreciate the challenge that it does give you when it is presented. Overall, this game is deserving of all that it's accomplished and more. A fantastic callback to the classics, while at the same time being a trendsetter for the future of games. A literal tale that you don't have to be a cookie-cutter style game that is made by the numbers and by focus groups, that is literally a rehashing of the same old shit, different day. Shovel Knight is a game that is made by not even 10 people. It is a video game experience that is made with love, care, passion, and most importantly, heart. And in the end, that is what matters, and that is what shows in the final product. Even though this game was released in 2014, it already has the popularity of being an instant classic. Automatically hands down, play this game. There's no passing up here. Play this game if given the chance and experience what happens when you read this love letter to gaming. Absolutely perfect. Well, that was a fun debut episode, especially for a game that I absolutely love. What did you guys think about it? Feel free to leave a comment below of what you think of Shovel Knight and what game you personally enjoy the most that definitely gives you that old nostalgic feeling. Also, feel free to leave a comment on what you would want to see for this show. And feel free to leave a thumbs up. It really shows a lot of support into what I've been doing. I have a good feeling about this project, guys. It's really fun, and I hope that I can be able to keep delivering for you guys. HD, out.